My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. We break down full fight cards every single week. We give you our picks, our bets, and our fantasy plays. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. And this is brought to you by Earn You. Earn You is the world's first sports and esports prediction game, allowing you to earn crypto risk-free. Check it out now at earnu.com. And ODDSJAM. ODDSJAM has the fastest real-time data integrations to spot discrepancies between different sportsbooks and helping users place risk-free bets. Check them out at oddsjam.com. Next up, at UFC 273, we have Aleksei Oleinik taking on Jared Vandera. Aleksei Oleinik, 59-16. He's 2-3 in his last 5, and he's riding a 3-fight skid. Jared Vandera is 12-7 overall, 2-3 in his last 5 as well, coming off a very close loss to Andrei Arlovski. This is a weird fight. Aleksei Oleinik was supposed to fight 2 weeks ago at UFC Columbus. Ilir Latifi pulled out like a couple of hours before that fight. So he didn't.
We know why. We found out why.
Jacob had Aleksei as his lock of the week. Then they rebooked that exact fight for this card, and Ilir Latifi pulled out again. So now Aleksei Oleinik remains on the card. Jared Vandera steps up on short notice. So Aleksei Oleinik has had more than a full camp. Jared has not. Aleksei Oleinik, you may recognize him from the opener to our big videos. He's
Want Picks.
He's We Want Picks in the opener of our videos. And I enjoy picking Aleksei Oleinik against Ilir Latifi. I liked him in the underdog spot. So did Jacob. But this is a very different fight. Aleksei, he's a ridiculously experienced grappler. He has a very high finish rate. His chin is pretty gone. I mean, he's 45 years old. His cardio is not great. His wrestling could use some work. But he can literally submit anybody from anywhere on the ground, even if it's very ugly getting to the ground. I've said this the last couple of weeks, but just think of Aleksei Oleinik as an older Paul Craig. It doesn't matter what's happening to him. If it gets to the ground, he will probably submit you. And Jared Vandera is a volume striker. He built his pre-UFC career on his grappling, though. And breaking down his UFC fights on the regional scene breaking down his UFC fights and comparing them to his fights on the regional scene, you would literally think you're looking at a completely different person, because on the regional scene, he's a big bully grappler. In the UFC, he's a straight up striker. And if you watch those fights, he dominated Justin Tafa with the striking. Very, very close fight against Andrei Arlovski with the striking. He outstruck Andrei 70-64. He's got a long jab, solid distance control, and clean striking, in addition to the fact that he's massive. And he does have wrestling in his back pocket. He hasn't showcased it yet, but that wrestling is there. And it's easy to say that Aleksei Oleinik is 2-3 in his last 5 and that he's on a 3-fight skid. But if you look at the 3 losses, he lost to Spivak, Dawkins, and Derek Lewis. All 3 of them have already beaten or would beat Jared Vandera. And Jared Vandera is also 2-3 in his last 5, but his losses are a split decision to Andrei Arlovski, where I mentioned he outstruck him. He lost to Romanov, who's a freaking beast. And he lost to Spivak, who lately has been looking like a beast. And he was taken down and just sort of stopped in both of those fights. And on the surface, you might say, okay, well, Vandera, when he loses, he's taken down and he's beaten up from there. Oleinik's a grappler, so that's straightforward. But it's not, because the problem is Oleinik has very poor takedowns. His takedown offense is not very good. And without the takedown offense, he's sort of stuck on his feet in a striking match with Jared Vandera. When Aleksei Oleinik was fighting Ilir Latifi, we were positive Ilir was going to take Aleksei Oleinik down. Positive that was going to happen. And once it hits the ground, that's exactly where Oleinik wants to be. I don't see this fight getting to the ground. I just don't see any world where Aleksei Oleinik is outstriking Jared Vandera. You guys can clown him because he's had a little bit of a rough run, but look who he's lost to, look how he's lost to them, and look how good he looks in his wins. I like Jared Vandera here. I have a 1-unit money line bet on him as well. I got it at -115. Again, go to oddsjam.com and you can get some better odds if you follow all the different books. Jakey boy, are you bailing on your former lock of the week?
Yeah, this is a really unfortunate situation, because I love them. You loved them against Latifi. I absolutely love them against Latifi. Just because Latifi was an undersized guy, right? So if they went to the ground, I was confident Oleinik's ability to win scrambles, end up in positions where he could get submissions. In this situation, if Jared decides for some reason, honestly, he seems like a guy that would like try to take Oleinik down for some reason, because if you're on the feet, you're going to have the advantage. You can probably knock Oleinik out inside of the first round, inside the first 2 minutes, if you just lay volume on him, right? It doesn't even take like a hard shot. Just lay volume on him. And I think there was one knockout. It was like just a standing TKO. Oleinik literally was just standing against the fence, and somebody was just boom, 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 and he just didn't move. And the ref was like, all right, I got to stop the fight. You could win that very easily, Jared, if you do that. He seems like a guy that might be like, oh, I'm going to take Oleinik down. And then he ends up getting submitted. But I like the Oleinik against Latifi because I thought he could win scrambles against a smaller guy. Jared is not a small guy. His nickname is the Mountain for a reason. He's a true heavyweight. So even if Jared does take him down, or say Oleinik tries to take him down, I think Jared ends up on top. And he might even be able to control those positions with this wrestling with Oleinik on the bottom. I don't think that's what he should do. But if it does end up on the ground, he still could even control those positions and not get submitted by Oleinik. This is 100%. I thought that Oleinik could win a wrestling match versus Latifi and maybe win a decision. I know a lot of people were like, submission or bust. He's got to get a sub. I thought he could win a wrestling match. In this, it's submission or bust right here for Oleinik. He's got to hope that the fight ends up on the ground and he can do something off his back to win a submission. Maybe he can. I really want to pick him. I think it's a safe play here, unfortunately, is Jared Vandera. I love my man Oleinik, but it's a toss-up. I got to go with Jared because he's better on the feet.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, when we break down Mackenzie Dern, I'll do my rant there. But you can be as the greatest ground fighter in the history of the ground. But if you can't get it there, then, that skill set isn't very helpful. DraftKings, we do not see this very often at all. 8,100, split down the freaking middle. Jared Vandera might be worth your lineup, man. Like, the problem is it's just a million significant strikes. I don't know if he stops Aleksei, but, he may be worth throwing in your lineup. I probably won't, honestly, but he may be worth that. Odds, I already told you I got you agree with the DraftKings?
Yeah, he's probably worth like a multi-lineup for a first-round knockout type thing, but I don't trust him. I literally think he'll come in and shoot a takedown and get submitted. It just seems like something he would do. Yeah,
that would be absurd, but yeah, it is what it is. The odds I already told you, I got a 1-unit moneyline bet on Jared Vandera. I got it at minus 115. It's at 110 right now. And then Monkey Knife Fight, I think it's more and more. I think it stays on his feet. I think it's just volume. I think this looks like the Taffa fight, or at least 3/4 of the Taffa fight, or Taffa. So I like more and more in Monkey Knife Fight. What do you think?
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Well, pick your side at WeWantPicks.com/MKF. They will instantly match your deposit. It is daily fantasy. It's super legal, super easy, super fun. It's an app on your phone. It's a website, WeWantPicks.com/MKF. And if you want $50 for free, $50, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners. Make a deposit. Let us know after you do. And I send you $50 as a thank you. It is literally that simple.